I lied awake for days, counting all the ways I died. Everything I couldn't save, buried down, still half alive. It's got me crawling in my skin, but no one's coming out to hold me close. Pouring out the gasoline, yeah, I've been making friends with all these ghosts, and I got nothing left to lose. Fire to the future. Choked it down, left a bad taste on my tongue, but my appetite's been growing now. I can see you crawling in your skin, but no one's coming out to hold you close. I'm pouring out the gasoline, so say hello to all my ghosts.
Like you, ain't no drama, only venom when I get my dues. Respect, I'm the next tycoon. Got a pad full of greens, couple M's my soon. Unbeliever, do you see the confidence? Got some people waiting for me on the fence. I live it, but never see me on the fence. Best believe that when I win, it's common sense. I'm designed to fly, defeat all demise. The best me, no fear, no compromise. 100 degrees, I breathe more to life. You should disconnect and throw in the wise. And a hand that's in this. Gotta back it up a high percentage. Got a heart in my sleep, non-stop. Stepping up to the seat, more shots. Getting those. I'm alive, unleashed in the fire. Out in the wild. You can never stop me. Watch me dive and free. And it's my time. Up in the stars. You'll never forget me. But not holding back on the side. Only get better with time. Ready to own what is mine tonight. I'm alive, unleashed in the fire. Out in the wild. You can never stop me. Yeah. And Flowers say so they coming on the way up. A true fighter's what they always been afraid of. Cards had a close on my circle when I lay up. Switch the game every quarter like a time zone. Aim for the bus, tryna build up to this milestone. Pave the way with only items that I might own. Imagine what I'm about to do, be an icon. And the problem just the haters that I might know. It's a night show, the way I'm about to make a movie with these lights. Another one they be like me, they can try. All gold, everything when I write. Can repeat it, every legend gotta fight. A new world, when I flip, make it tight. Ain't nobody doing minutes how I like.
Every time till it's normal. Why worship legends when you know that you can join? These demons don't like me, they don't like me. Likely they wanna fight me. Come on, try it out, try me. They put me down, but I never cried out. Why me? We're from the wise. Don't put worth inside somebody that ain't tried. They said I wouldn't make it out alive. They told me I would never see the rise. That's why I gotta get them every time. Gotta watch them bleed too. Don't ever say it's over if I'm breathing. Racing to the moonlight and I'm speeding. I'm headed to the stars, ready to go far and start walking. Don't ever say it's over if I'm breathing. Racing to the moonlight and I'm speeding. I'm headed to the stars, ready to go far and start walking. Don't ever say it's over if I'm breathing. Racing to the moonlight and I'm speeding. I'm headed to the stars, ready to go far. I'm start walking. yourself remember, darling, don't look for me, I'm just a story you've been told. So let's pretend a little longer, 'cause when we're gone, everything goes on. You were staring at the window, and I said, I'll just bring this to you. Oh, but if I was gone tomorrow, won't the waves crash on? Is it selfish that I'm happy as we pass the setting sun? Someday I'll be overcast, but you won't have to cry, 'cause we'll do the grieving while I'm by your side. I said, don't try to make yourself remember, darling, don't look for me, I'm just a story you've been told. So let's pretend a little longer, 'cause when we're gone, everything goes on. And I'm so scared of getting used to this. All the vines that keep you tethered in your room. You said I'm sorry that you worry, but don't apologize. I told you to forget me, but you stayed by my side when I said, don't try to make yourself remember, darling, don't look for me, I'm just a story you've been told. So let's pretend a little longer, and when we're gone, everything goes on.
They say where the legends come from. You know what a hero like. Pretty little flower, won't you sit back down and go play nice? So keep talking, keep laughing.
Welcome, one and all, to the Victorious Triumph Series of Fall 2023. This is our first VTS stream of the split, but the second week of games. Unfortunately, we were not able to get in here last week due to some scheduling conflicts and unforeseen technical difficulties, but thankfully, all of that is now resolved, and we can begin our coverage in earnest. Tonight's best of three, the first streamed match of the series, will be the Knights of Ishtar versus defending champions, Glacial Esports Black. As the seasons change, the patches change with them, but your VTS casters remain the same. Crewman and Turk here reporting for duty on the Victorious caster desk. Turk, welcome back. How you been, boss?
Hey, it's good to be back, crewman. I've been great, man. I'm looking forward to it. I've been jonesing. It's been a while, even competitive. Seems like even competitive's been like a little bit stale lately too. They've been running the same patch for it feels like 2 months almost at this point. So to actually be able to get casting again, be a part of this, get to see exactly what's going on here on the front lines of the amateur scene. It's gonna be pretty fun. And of course, go figure, right? Whenever we come back, we're gonna be casting Glacial Esports again. Seems like these guys just can't get rid of us.
Yeah, it feels right, doesn't it?
It does,
pick
yeah.
up kind of where we left off,
It does.
rejoining Glacial Esports Black here as they resume another season here in Victorious. But as you just mentioned, Turk, we are in a little bit of a dead zone as far as the pro scene is concerned. Has been a little bit of a gap here, since we've gotten any action. But luckily, I at least have been able to jump around to some other leagues and gotten some casting recently. I'm also in like a new apartment, and there have been some other cool things going on. I've been getting into Valorant recently as well. But what all is new with you, Turk?
Oh, mostly just working, man. Like honestly, like the older you get, the more you realize that you gotta go out there and work. And
Yeah,
I've been doing a lot of that, but on my spare time, I've been really trying to pay attention to what pros have been doing, both like kind of in the amateur scene and whatnot too, just in general overall. I just kind of want to get a good idea about what's going to be going on for this Worlds for this year. I'm pretty
Oh, yeah.
stoked for it. I got some high hopes. I'm hoping G2 can do a lot of things. I know I love my
Okay.
AMA boys and everything, but big fan of G2. So yeah, really just kind of trying to keep an eye on what's going to be happening in the meta. Of course, we're not quite on that Worlds patch yet, which is going to be
Sure.
13-19. Right now we're on
Yeah.
13-18, if I'm not mistaken. Last
Yeah,
time I
absolutely.
checked, whenever I blink and
Absolutely right
woke
there,
up
sir.
there. But yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I have a pretty decent idea. Glacial Esports last time they picked Rel 2 out of the 3 games first pick. That was with Sly Lego though, so it could actually be something like the Kaisa. I wouldn't be surprised for that. Kaisa seems to be just like a pretty solid first pick, and we're gonna get that right away. You can't really go wrong with that champ.
Yeah, definitely the case. You know, Kai'Sa's so the more things change, the more they stay the same, right? So we're back to Kai'Sa on B1 now, I guess, despite the AP build not being as completely broken as it previously was. But that will indeed be the lock-in here for Glacial Esports on B1. Camille Jarvan, Xerath, Swain Akali, and Lilia are the bans in this first one. And we are looking at potentially an Ashe as the ADC match here on the other side. But I do like, Turk, that you just mentioned a moment ago, the fact that we do have Sly Lego not here tonight. It is Purple Ninja coming in for support, and then Never Saw actually substitute top laner this evening for Glacial Esports Black as well. I believe it is the full starting 5 on the other side for the Knights, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe you're not mistaken. I think you're right, and if you're not right, then I guess we're both not right. So look
Seems
at
true.
that. Yeah, there we go. We're gonna get an R1, R2 Ashe Seraphine. So overall, it
Indeed.
seems pretty strong. The rail still is up right now, so the rail does have shield break. That is an option for Glacial if they want to grab that
Mhm.
early on. But the Ashe, just really a heavy prio ADC. I've been seeing that picked a lot more, especially earlier on. Is more susceptible to things like the Jarvan, but of course, Glacial Esports banned that themselves. Nautilus could be another option too. There's a lot of windows that Glacial Esports has, and they're going to get a little spicy with it.
Yeah,
Ooh.
they certainly will. The Blitzcrank coming out now for the substitute for support. Purple Ninja going to be taking that one into the bot lane alongside the Kaisa. Although I guess theoretically the Kaisa is still Flex is alive for Glacial Esports if they do want to look towards that. Again, Kaisa mid not as common as it was, but certainly still viable at least.
It is probable. It is not impossible. And we're actually going to get the Ornn right away here. And I do like the Ornn. That's an immobile,
Mm.
both carry. And I actually, something we didn't mention, that Seraphine could be a flex too. That could actually be going mid. So that was one thing I wanted to just mention really
True.
quick. We'll have to see exactly
True.
where that goes. But of course, you do have the shield break with the Blitzcrank. But more importantly, with that Ornn, it's a really nice front to back team comp here that you start to draft. The Blitz is a little out of place in that with the pick. But regardless, Ornn does extremely well into mobile carries, and of course you have both the Ashe and the Seraphine, but a beautiful R3 pick. I really like that coming up from Koi right
Mm.
away. That Braum really negates that Ornn. You just got to kind of wonder if he's able to get through that lane phase, but yeah, we saw that Seraphine flex come in. Nice R3 pick for the Braum to negate the Ornn, and we'll see how that pick really plays out here.
Yeah, they do end the Seraphine flex in the first phase of picks, but now they do have that really nice Freljord synergy down there in the bot lane. And as you say, Turk, it is also a brilliant answer into the Ornn. But speaking of the Ornn, it is interesting that we do see Glacial Esports go for this pick. The Ornn, of course, was a little bit of a, or is, I should say, a specialty of the starting top laner, Leoto, and did pull that out a number of times to great success last season, including in the grand finals. But obviously not a main or not a usual pick for Neversaw, but clearly it's something that the team is comfortable playing around, right?
Never saw just follows in the footsteps of Leoto. Pick me weak side top, play everywhere else. I don't care.
Legends.
Hey, I like it. And of course, we're going to get these phase 2 bands coming in here real quick. We're going to see the 2
Mhm.
mid bands coming out from Knights. Of course, we're going to see the 2 top bands coming out from Glacial Esports. So you can see what both sides are really prioritizing here. Don't be surprised for an R5 pick from Koi here. R4 jungle at this point, that one's kind of left open to interpretation. Core drinkers seem to be really strong right now, so Xin Zhao could be a decent option if that's something that you're looking for. The one thing that
Interesting.
rings to my mind, but there are many options. Many, many, many.
Sure, yeah. Lots of things can work these days in the jungle. That has been my experience as well. It feels like nothing is really super overpowered right now in terms of jungle picks, especially since Darvin has been tapped down a little bit. And Maokai as well, of course, received a nerf or two here and there. Those were kind of some of the picks towards the top that were the most meta. And now it does feel pretty open in terms of what you can look for. And it will be the Knights of Ishtar, in fact, saving
Yeah.
that R5 pick for the jungler, interestingly.
That's right. Funnily enough, I mean, Garen feels like one of those champs that you can blind pick. I don't quite know all of the matchups into it. I imagine there's a couple that probably do pretty well, but obviously to see the prioritization, excuse me, there of Koi, they really want to get that R5 jungle here and feel like they can make something happen. And Glacial Esports, feel like right now with the comp that they've drafted, they're lacking a lot of consistent engage. I'm hoping to see something B5 here comes out. The
Mm,
Silas is a pretty good answer, especially into the Seraphine. You do have that Ashe as well, so offers you some more conditional engage. I still don't think it's the easiest go button. Of course, you have the Ornar and you have the Blitzcrank hook, but sometimes those things don't always work out, especially with the tools coming over on the side of Koi with that Braum. So something to take note of. Glacial Esports doesn't have the easiest time being able to force fights, but you can make the same argument for Koi right now. All I really see is an Ashe R and a Seraphine R.
that
So.
is true. I do like the Silas pick, but the R5 pick for the Knights of Ishtar now will be the Graves. So matching the marksman in the jungle, that is going to be very exciting to track. A couple of very aggressive picks for
Yeah.
both of these junglers. A couple of players right after my own heart, Turk. But the jungle is actually where I'd like to turn our attention next, because we mentioned earlier on Glacial Esports Black, defending champions. They did win out in the VTS and take that first place finish last split in spring, but only 4 out of 5 members of that roster are returning here in the VTS for fall. The one member who is not back is LDC's. The jungler has been replaced by Popang here, who is pulling out the Kindred for this first game. Now, it was Glacial Esports that did lose their first match of fall last week, but they did manage to get one game of the Manhattan Project, who were their opponent. In that one game that they won, Popang was 18-2-3 on the Kindred to get them that win. Playing it again.
Okay, so that goes to show you. Obviously, it's going to be that nice comfort pick for him, and if he's popping off with games like that, 18-2, it's nice to see. If I'm not mistaken, the Kindred does tend to do pretty well into the Graves, and I agree. I think a big priority right now is going to be those junglers, who's able to get get the clear, get the efficiency going on. If you can find any early ganks, it's great. There's a couple lanes that both sides can play to, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of power farming coming up from the jungles. Could be a pretty slow-paced early game. It's tough to say
Yeah.
100% because there are still tools on both sides. Of course, you do have that Blitzcrank hook, which really at any point, providing you have the right vision and they don't, you can land those hooks, make those plays. But both junglers lack that CC that is so necessary. Usually, what you see drafted so often now in the pro meta, obviously, be things kind of the snooze fest, really. But it's the Maokai, it's the Sejuani, things that can really give you that consistent engage. And yeah, I think both teams sort of end up lacking it. I think the B5 Silas there coming in from Glacial is pretty solid because you have two really nice alts that you can work with, which of course going to be the Seraphine and the Ashe. So
Yeah.
those two alts give you more angles to find those engages. But yeah, I think it could be a lot of dancing until either team gets that vision set up, and then once that happens, it's really just about face checking. I feel like almost it's gonna be interesting to see. But yeah, vision control is gonna be extremely important. Blitzcrank especially. So we'll see how Glacial is able to play around that pick.
Yeah.
That really is kind of a feast or famine style. Like Koi's bot lane, Ashe, Braum, they don't really need to do too much to become really useful. I mean, realistically, they both
True.
need to auto. That's the moral of the story with Ashe and Braum. If you both auto, you're going to get the slows, you're going to get the stuns. So more conditional engage coming in from Glacial. Of course, there's windows for both sides and pretty spicy game one. I'm excited to see it. I just hope we get a nice, fast-paced early game and not what I
Mm.
predicted.
Right. What you want and what you believe to be true, of course, not always the same thing, and not in this case, unfortunately. But we'll have to wait and see how it goes, because of course, I do agree, Turk. We do seem to be lacking primary engage a little bit on both sides, but there are some tools that we can look to kind of help mitigate that, for both sides, particularly the Blitzcrank and the Ornn and the Silas, being able to steal away these ultimates. And then on the other side for the Knights, they have the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. You can try and set something up with the Encore, or, Braum jumping forward, the engage Braum, right? Is a thing in some leagues, in some circles, I
Like
suppose.
Carry up, probably, yes.
Yeah, that is who I was thinking of.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. You got me there. But one thing that I am a little bit concerned about, actually, Turk, is if we do end up getting the slower early game that you were just saying you do believe to be maybe a little bit more likely, given these compositions. I feel like the scaling is actually fairly decisively in favor of Glacial Esports with this composition. Where do you lie there?
I mean, looking at it, I think that there's a couple things to that. First and foremost, Glacial Esports, yeah, especially with the Orn pass, the scaling is going to be there, but Seraphine's going to be a menace. And I think the real key thing
Yeah.
is to take a look at that Garen. It's really going to be about how Koi is able to play, because that Garen's a split pushing menace. So as this game continues, that Garen is going to have those options to be able to play for that split. If they're able to play around that and not get picked out themselves, of course, they do have that Braum shield to negate any real engage coming from Orn. Really just going to be the Blitzcrank hook. I think Koi can look to win based off split con, or based off split, excuse me, win con. I think that's completely possible. The
Okay.
Seraphine does really enable the team to continue to scale, especially with a carry jungler like Graves. A lot of the times when I would play back in the day when I was still playing comp, we'd look for a Seraphine pick into a carry jungler ourselves, something like Hecarim or
There
Xin
you go.
that can really start to snowball. So that Seraphine can really facilitate the team.
Okay.
So Koi's team overall, I think, is actually a bit easier to execute here if they're able to play around the split push. But GEB, of course, they've got the angles. They still have plenty of tools, and we know how good Glacial is. We've seen them play. I don't know how many times. I played against them. I don't know how many times. They're good.
Good.
They're good. So I'm excited to see it. Glacial Esports, I know that they can pull this off. They've got good comms. I'm very well aware of that stuff. And Koi, I think they've drafted themselves a really good set here. Both teams, of course, ended up losing in week 1. So week 2 is that much more important here right now. And it looks a hell of a lot better to get a 1-1 record as opposed to an 0-2.
Oh yeah, especially with only 7 weeks of regular season, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
give you a lot of time to be dropping these games. You're going to fall down those standings pretty quickly. But yeah, we do have some pretty even compositions, honestly, overall. Double marksman and some decent frontline on both sides here, Turk. But of course, it was Glacial Esports that did manage to get at least that one game last week. The Knights of Ishtar, unfortunately, it was a 0-2. Still looking for their first Nexus of the season. But Turk, do you have a prediction for us for our first cast of fall?
Yeah, I mean, if I got to make a prediction, which I always got to do,
Oh,
I
yeah.
love
I'm
to
not
eat
holding
my
a gun
words.
to your head. You don't have to.
I love to eat my words here. Glacial Esports, I think, is gonna have to take this one here, crewman. I think at the end of the day, Koi's comp, they can kind of force those fights. I think it's a bit easier for them to play again if they could play around that split push. But I know how strong Glacial is. I know that if they wait, if they're patient, the Braum shield is just one tool. Course, if they're able to get rid of that, they can pull trigger really anytime with that Ornar. They group up, they've drafted their standard comp really, which is weak side top, play through mid, play through bot, then group up, play front to back. So this is a Glacial Esports comp through and through,
All
even
right.
without Leoto. I'm gonna have to give it to them.
We'll see. On to Summoner's Rift in just a moment for game 1.
See you soon.
This ain't where the legends come from. You know what a hero looks like. Pretty little flower, won't you sit back down and go play nice? So keep talking, keep laughing. One day you'll wish you had it. Other people on fire, fire. Maybe it's time they meet their dragon. If you're gonna hold me down, you're not gonna let me into your castle walls. None of you can keep them. 'Cause if I gotta burn it all down, burn it all down. My oh my, look at who winds up bigger this time. And if I gotta break it all down, then let's break it all down. Bye, playing with fire, and we'll burn it all down. This is where the bruises come from. This is when the game gets ugly. These blood, sweat, tears keep running. Licking my plate 'cause I'm so hungry. Keep talking, keep laughing. One day you'll see what happens. Other people on fire, fire. It's about time they meet their dragon. If you're gonna hold me down, you're not gonna let me into your castle walls. None of you can keep them. 'Cause if I gotta burn it all down, then we'll burn it all down. My oh my.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Summoner's Rift for the first time on the stream here in fall 2023. in the VTS. A little bit of a 5-stack coming out here from the Knights of Ishtar, expecting that patented level 1 Blitzcrank invade, but it does not seem to be forthcoming, Turk.
Obligatory. It almost feels, doesn't it? You pick
Apparently
Blitz,
not.
you invade. And
You
honestly, I
so?
think it's pretty good heads up play here from both teams, just recognizing that if you're Glacial, if you try to invade a Braum and they're stacking, this is exactly what's going to happen. And of course, Koi's looking for that. So just something to take quick note of. But of course, that does leave the rest of the map open here. And we're going to see that early war coming in from Kindred there. Popang is more than likely going to be spotting Voperto moving up here towards this. And yeah, absolutely, they're going to recognize where this Graves is going to be starting here. And could be some sneaky shenanigans already happening from this jungle matchup.
Is it? Do we think it's Popang or Popang?
I don't know. We always get these wrong.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to guess. It's kind of a 50-50.
Oh, don't
What do you
worry.
like better?
Don't worry. The Twitch chat will let us know.
Twitch chat, we're dangerous proposition. I'm sure you won't let us down, right?
Oh, no way. No way.
Anyways, running a topside start for both of our junglers, which is a little bit surprising for Kendrick, as he does usually like to start on the red buff, but clearly wanting to prioritize this bot lane.
It looks like both junglers right now are just doing stock standard. Could be a full clear. We do have the option for a 3-camp top, but I really don't expect that. Mid is taking a lot of trades right now, so if Head is 0 or Vengeful are communicating that, maybe there's a little window where both junglers can slide there, but don't be surprised to see it.
Yeah, pretty likely probably with these two. And I really do want to get that power through as much as possible. One kind of weird thing that I do on Kindred that I feel like is probably not very common. I don't actually know though, but I actually like to do 5 camps into mid game to try and guarantee priority for wherever the mark spawns on whichever crash go there after the mid game. But probably just the full clear is going to be a little bit more.
Yeah, it's not too bad at all. And depending on the jungle matchup too, Kindred's one of those champions that could cheese. She can just queue over pretty much any bush, excuse me, any wall that she really wants, especially that dragon wall right there. And there are windows where, of course, that Kindred can look for those sneaky plays. So, I mean, you can make the same point about Graves. So I'm not too surprised to see them both doing what they're doing right now. But we are going to see, right, Popang, Kindred, for now, maybe just call him Kindred, is going to end up missing his Raptors there. He just doesn't want to take those, so he wants to get that priority on that bot side, make sure that this wave that is slow pushing does get crashed, and I think once that happens, they can look to start playing towards that mark.
Absolutely. 20 seconds. Oh, Garen is extremely low. Hang on. Tygoon is only a couple autos away. Kind of got creep blocked a little bit there, looks like, but is down a level now. Flashing forward is Tygoon and barely does manage to get the first blood. A little bit of a nail biter, but it is the Knights on the board with their first kill. Voperto now getting invaded. Did manage to secure the blue buff, but looks like he's gonna have almost the support can save him as Chicken the Wing jumps in to try and protect the Graves, but is unsuccessful. But thankfully, the Blitzcrank hook is still on cooldown, and the Braum will be able to escape. A 1-for-1 as these teams finally find some action in this early game.
And there we go. That's what I'm talking about. And we're going to see Glacial Esports. It's so tragic for Neversaw. He actually misclicked an auto minion there. And I wasn't sure if my eyes were deceiving me, but I'm about 99% sure. So that one's tragic. But the good news is, bot side, you make a play off that wave that crashes. You roam in, catch the Graves out, pick them off, get that kill. And that's nice too, because look where the gold went.
Yeah, absolutely. Good movement from the Purple Ninja to be able to rotate over with the Kindred into the enemy jungle. And it was actually Popang. Let's go with Popang, by the way. I'm feeling Popang.
Yeah.
But Popang did actually do the 5 camp into the invade. So kind of similar to what I was promoting just a moment ago, is Tygoon now with the kill up a level over Neversaw. Neversaw trying to get this wave crash. Does have both junglers waiting around this tri-brush. Doesn't look like the 2v2 is going to break out, though.
Nope, man, it's really all about this wave right now, and as long as this crashes for Neversaw, he dodges the next gank here, he's probably safe for the next minute and a half, 2 minutes. And Purple Ninja looking for another hook. The Braum shield. Yeah, Chicken the Wing just doing a really good job there. Throwing out the shield, tanking the hook, and no big deal.
Right. Take me, I'm Braum.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that was exactly what he needed to do. So yeah, excellent stuff.
Manly man. He's got a nice stash, I'll give it to him.
He does. He does. He's got the gameplay and the mustache. It's really unfair. Oh my goodness. Is so very low right now. And this wave is pushing away from the Garen. So this is an extraordinarily tricky situation without the teleport as well.
Yeah, it definitely is. A 6 is going to come in. You do have that Garen passive to heal up a bit, but Neversaw, once he hits that 6, I think the kill threat is there up top.
think it probably is. Getting off some more bellows breathing there as well. Tycoon fighting back a little bit. This is the Conqueror variety of the Garen, not the Phase Rush, so it's going to be a little bit more tricky to actually chase down some of the more mobile targets here, but will have a little bit of sustain, especially in those mid-late game team fights.
Yeah, that's exactly it right now. And we'll pan really quickly here just to pay attention real quick to that vision coming in from bot side there. That is going to get cleared out from Popang here. He's just going to snatch that up. I wouldn't be surprised to see, Glacial Esports set up towards this objective here. Of course, they do have that hijacked Seraphine ultimate. Seraphine herself isn't quite 6 yet, so I think this is a good heads-up play off the mid priority that you have, the advantage with the ultimates. You're able to pick this up, and this is what we see Glacial Esports do so well, and never saw.
Called on. Ooh, took a turret shot there that he really didn't want to take. Probably means we can no longer go for the dive, but we can at least get the demolish proc. As Kite Azur is getting rooted up a little bit in the mid lane here. And the dragon did go over.
Yes, it did, and never saw again continuing to bully Tygoon on this Garen. As time goes on, you can definitely expect that Garen to really start to become a menace, but right now Neversaw is doing a really good job, and he's off roll too. I didn't do it. I think I did I? Okay.
No, he's fine. He's fine. We're good. We do have to be careful, though. That was a close one. But we did just see the mid laners fighting actually very aggressively. Kite Azur finds... flashes the encore from Ventro. Kite Azur, the better Seraphine in this instance. Now Voperto getting marked by the Kindred. I was dashing away. That chain was very spicy, but it will not find its way onto the graves. We did also just see Popang picking up mark number 3 off of that South Scuttle.
Ooh. Glad I took my heart medication. Kite Azur. No.
Oh my god, he went under the turret, but the Triumph proc keeps the Silas alive. And that's that championship, the defending champion mid laner. Kite Azur clearly hasn't lost a beat.
Nope, not at all. Really nice chain. They're able to get that. Yeah, that's 2 kills now coming in. So we've got some gold on Popang and some gold on Kite Azur. And obviously those 2 ultimates that he does have is going to be great. Neversaw is doing a really good job of soaking up this, really negating any sort of pressure that's coming in from that Garen. And again, as time goes on, sure, Koi's going to have that split push con right now, but you really see things starting to come together for Glacial already.
That Void Seeker about a millimeter from stopping Frostbite's back. That would have actually been pretty annoying for the Ashe, but not quite enough range for Silva on that one. As we do see Popang now. Both junglers going to be hitting level 6 in a moment here. Voperto just a little bit behind after getting invaded earlier on, but will have the ultimate after finishing off the red buff here.
The pressure, this is going to continue to happen, and once Seraphine gets a couple items, she's going to be able to really become that facilitator, but you can see the pressure that Kite Azur is able to apply here, and steals a Braum ult. Why not? At that point, I don't think the Braum ult's too bad on the Silas. You have that up. There isn't too much to play for right now other than the Herald, and of course we are seeing right now Knights of Ishtar taking that, but Purple Ninja's in a pretty good spot here.
He is going to get spotted out. It's a well-placed control ward from Frostbite.
Yeah, no vision for himself either, so he does have a couple wards there, but elects not to use it. I think that's pretty wise. Those are probably just going to end up getting cleared anyways.
Yeah.
So
we do have to... We need Silva to be a little bit careful, as Blitzcrank is going for a little bit of a journey with the Kindred at the moment.
Silva does have the cleanse, right? He does have the cleanse. He's pretty hard to kill in that bot lane. I do agree with you. He does need to be careful, but it's a lot trickier for the Ashe and the Braum to be able to find that fight with that cleanse available. And right now, we're already seeing it. We saw it, what, 3.5, 4 minutes ago? The priority on that bot side, the blue, just coming through, and that's another wave that ends up crashing. Of course, you see Koi, they're forced to collect that. Never saw on the opposite. Oh, the hook.
Oh, hook lands onto the Ashe. Frostbite will be able to flash over the wall to try and survive, but the killer instinct in for Silva. True to its name there as the Kaisa picks up her first of the game. Never saw now in a 1v2. Forge got called on once again, connecting only onto the jungler. The flash will get him underneath the tier 1. And the Ornn weak side play absolutely on point for the substitute top laner. You'll love to see it.
He's doing exactly what he needs to do right now. His team's winning around the map. Kite Azur is absolutely pressureless. Is he able to thwart this dive? I don't know.
We are going underneath the turret. The knockup will land. Ooh, the turret juggling there. Exquisite from the Knights of Ishtar. They do manage to secure the kill, but Neversaw did not make it easy for them. They will collect a lot of gold off the back end of this play, though. We do have Popang on the way, so we can't be too greedy here. I think Kindred can clean this up. Has everything available, does Popang. Looking for Kills number 2 and 3 here, potentially. Voperto, the first target, gonna burn down to the red buff, I believe. And now the dance of arrows forward, but Tygoon has enough move speed. And it will only be the 1 kill for Kindred. It did not get a mark for that.
Azure.
Oh, yeah. Too dangerous.
I think wise. Yeah. There you go. Good heads up play from Knights of Ishtar there. And all in all, they get a lot of gold injected into their split con, win con. And I like it. It's good to see that. The TP is going to come up top. I think he's fine, but there are 3. There were 3. And Azure does get that reset in. Of course, he doesn't have the TP. He's going to miss 1 wave already. He doesn't want to miss too many more. That wave clear on Seraphine is quite obnoxious as well. Something that we haven't really had a chance to talk too much about. Really just with Kaitazor absolutely bullying that lane. It almost negates that fact, but it is true nevertheless. You don't want to leave your lane for too long. And never saw again. Just pretty good trades overall. Doing a really good job at weak side right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, all of these lanes for Glacial Esports seem like they've been going pretty well. You know, top lane has certainly been back and forth, you know, kind of trading pressure. But mid and bot, it felt like, oh, Hook lands onto the Braum. Should be able to stand beside the teammate and get back towards safety. We'll be able to do so. The flank has come through, though. From Kaitazor, we got Popeng waiting in the Dragon Pit as well. Gonna hop over the wall now. Braum looks to be the first target. The door is still on cooldown and will be the first catch to get the Silas taken before the Kindred ultimate can come down. The hook lands onto Frostbite, who still had no flash, and that is gonna make it a 2-for-1 in favor of Glacial Esports. Perfect timing for the second Dragon game as well.
Blitzcrank pick. It's a statement. That's what it is. Purple Ninja, Nerves of Steel, game 1, doesn't care. Pick me the Blitz, and he's doing a really good job with it too. Those are 2 back-to-back hooks that land that effectively net all those kills right there. Of course, a little bit of an overextension there coming in from Koi, but all 4 members were grouped up around that tri-bush. The opportunity was there, but it looked like that Q from Braum ended up missing, so the slow doesn't apply, but it's tough. You can't really force those fights with the comp that you've drafted, and that's really the tricky thing right now for Koi.
Yeah, we are kind of seeing some of these things that you highlighted for us. Oh, Voperto in a lot of trouble here, but Popeng is very deep looking for this kill. Gonna flash forward, but Graves able to quick draw himself over the wall to safety, and Popeng will get the Gromp, but will not be able to make it out. And that's a shutdown over to Frostbite. Ashes first as, oh, in the top lane, the Forge God is not going to be able to save Neversaw as the sword coming down from the sky. Apparently swords are stronger than gods. There's a Ventro in the mid lane, gonna get clipped by the Encore. The Silas able to get in there for the kill and walks out of the turret range. No problem. Number 3 now for Kaitazor.
That's right. That was a 700 gold going over to Frostbite there on the Ash. He's gonna pick that up. He's more than happy. He already has. Oh, look at this damage.
Yeah, Ash feeling pretty powerful now.
The Ash Braum is really starting to come online, and yeah, you do have that CC available. It's conditional. It really is, but you can see the pressure that this Ash is starting to exert, and the Braum is there to defend just that. And there are plenty of windows, and of course, we're going to take a look. Tycoon ended up getting that kill up topside, now sitting at a 300 gold bounty himself. Already has a Stride-Breaker complete, working on the second item as well, and this Garen, he's starting to do Garen things.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Neversaw had a pretty strong early laning phase, but now that the Garen has the first item, the Ornn is going to start having a pretty hard time matching him in the 1v1. It's starting to look like a pretty dangerous situation for Neversaw, who, again, might not be very comfortable with this matchup, given the fact that he's not usually a top laner.
I do agree with you. I think the really good news for Glacial, providing he does end up living this, I never really know what that Garen champ is. Really, at the end of the day, he doesn't need to win his lane. He just needs to group up. That's really what they need to do. They could be a little wary around the Braum pick. Of course, you're really just spotting that out, calling when that Braum shield isn't up, so you can force those fights that you really do want to. But I'm a little curious to know what the plan is from Glacial. They have the 2 dragons right now, of course, right? So the Inferno Soul, they're going to be on soul point here in 240 if they're able to net this next dragon. They do a really good job of setting up neutral vision when they need to around that river, but right now, Knights of Ishtar have done a really good job getting that neutral vision themselves. It's not deep by any means at all, but it's still in the river. They're able to spot out the rotations from Glacial, and they're able to recognize that if they do try to group right now, they're able to play away from that, play towards their split condition, and yeah, really at this point, it really is anybody's game, but it's a battle of vision.
Well, I think it is worth noting as well that if we remember, Tygoon did get the opportunity to counterpick the Garen into the Ornn. So, ooh, that's the flash force from Frostbite. The Ejectro comes out. Really nice Captain Jack from Silvas. Now Voperto taking a turret shot. He's going to have to flash away from that guy. So Void Seeker connecting onto Frostbite. Forge God. Ooh, the Ram just runs over the Graves. Mercenary gets absolutely clobbered there. Stampede is going to take down Voperto. Is now chicken the wing as the flash over the wall. Nobody close enough to stand beside. And now it is Glacial Esports very much on the offensive down here on the bot side of the map. And Dragon's not even up yet.
That's right. Silva really just playing that exceptionally well. That cleanse coming in almost immediately. Actually, it was immediately. It was like frame perfect. Able to follow up, get all that damage in, and of course you see the rest of the team following up. They net those kills, and of course they're going to take that bot side turret, get some more pressure towards mid here, and Glacial Esports, which was a pretty neutral map state there for a little bit, maybe 2-3 minutes, is really starting to blow this game open. They do have that Rift Herald available too, so the option for them to drop at mid is there, but again, that soul point in 1 minute's time, I really feel like that's a win con for Glacial Esports. The comps that they draft really tend to do well around those souls. Because if you get a soul, all you want to do is group and use it. That's your goal. So Glacial Esports, I think that's their win con, and I think they're going to be able to set up for it. We'll have to see if they can execute and pull it off.
It's not just any soul as well, right? The Infernal Soul is going to make the Kindred and the Kaisa so incredibly deadly, much more so than they already are, which is really saying something. Popang, by the way, quick mark check, is at 5 right now. At 16.5 minutes, so does have that first range upgrade, pretty much on pace, I would say, for the Kindred. As we do see the Knights of Ishtar actually trying to get some control in this bot side river. Chicken the wing to move in. There is that engaged Braum that we were hoping we weren't going to see, and it will in fact not work out whatsoever, although we do have the Kaisa getting taken down in return, but Frostbite is also going to drop. The sword comes down. Blitzcrank is also taken out. Tygoon now already used the ultimate. Ornn still alive off on the side. Kaitazor going in. Stolen encore. Only onto the top laner. Nako coming through from the Ornn. Garen going to get taken down, but the Ornn is traded back. It's an extremely contentious fight here in the mid lane, but Popang still standing strong with the Lamb's Respite online as well. We'll be able to use the Seraphine. Getting to safety underneath the turret. Voperto barely gets away. That last auto attack, that last arrow from the Kindred will not finish off the Graves. What an incredibly close fight between these teams in the mid lane.
Yep, more than. And of course we saw that basically being initiated by the Braum there, and he does go down pretty early on, but the follow-up there, especially from Frostbite, able to pick off Silva there with his ult, able to sneak past. I'm not sure who was in front, but he got through and landed the ult. Of course, no cleanse on Silva, able to pick up that kill, kited back, ended up dying, but he still bought 3 seconds, which was enough time for the team to be able to regroup. For Voperto too, exceptional ult, and right now they're set up for this dragon.
Yeah, Chicken the wing first out, first back onto the rift, was able to help the team secure control over the area. Looks like the soul stacking will be stopped, so good moves from the Knights of Ishtar, understanding they had enough time to comfortably secure that objective, and that is a big win for them, stopping that soul stacking, as you were discussing before, Church. Very, very important.
That's right.
Frank looking for it. Purple Ninja's gonna find the Ash once again, and Popang happily scoops up that kill. Thankfully for the Knights of Ishtar, Baron not going to be an option just yet. But the gold is starting to become a little bit problematic.
That's right, and they do have the Rift Herald too. I'm not sure if they're going to drop it. They might elect to play for those topside camps, which are spawning pretty soon themselves. Of course, getting Popang that much more ahead at this point right now. And yeah, just really good heads up play from Glacial. Another hub lands as we speak.
The knockup comes through. Silva looked like maybe a little bit exposed for a second there, but the Kaisa very, very scary on 2 items. And it will be the Knights of Ishtar just backing away for now. As we can see, Tygoon now in full control of the side lane. Ooh, does have the cleanse back off cooldown. Silva should be able to try and get behind this minion wave. Voperto taking a lot of return damage here. The encore. Ooh, beautiful side step, and the collateral damage is not quite enough. Silva, the micro, on point this game. And now here comes Popang. The flash away from Ventro to build enough space to get away from the Kindred. Shirley has been summoned into the mid lane. We'll be able to get that headbutt into the tier 2. Won't quite be enough to take down the turret. It looks like that's going to be the end of the fighting for now.
Yeah, some's being burned left and right, but ultimately we're going to see Glacial coming up pretty ahead. Although, Tygoon, if he has anything to say about that, he's going to start to really equalize his gold too. And at this point right now, 20 minutes in, being 3k down with your win con being this Garen is not so bad, especially when you have that Hullbreaker complete. That Hullbreaker at this point is going to be exceptionally valuable. I mean, just generally speaking, it's always been high value for the stats, the price that you end up paying for it. So that Hullbreaker really going to start to take effect, and you really see Tygoon. We're going to see it again right here. Just the damage that's consistent with that Conqueror. It just applies and applies, and never saw his job is to clear that wave, group up as quickly as he can, and his team right now is already setting up for that. He does have that TP while Tygoon doesn't.
Yeah, that is true, and it seems that Glacial Esports may be aware of that fact, as we do see them gaining some vision control over the Baron area. But you are, of course, absolutely right that just looking at the gold on the scoreboard isn't as significant when we consider the fact that the Knights of Ishtar do seem to be playing for this split push win condition. The only thing that matters is Tygoon's gold, if that is the avenue that they are going to be pursuing. And as we said a moment ago, you know, there's not much that Neversaw can do down here. I mean, we can try and clear out these minion waves as much as possible, but Tygoon is just completely ignoring him. Look at this, just taking the turret in the Orin's face, but now the collapse has come through from Popeng, and they will be able to silence the Garen for now. And the Knights of Ishtar, unfortunately for them, not in position to look for a Baron.
That's right. Yeah, just really not in position to be able to find too much. The rest of the team's just not able to make a play off that. Of course, they're just being choked out right now for vision control around that top side. So they recognize that there really isn't much of a window. Just a bit of an overextension in there coming from Tygoon. I think just maybe a bit of an unnecessary death, but that definitely alludes to what you can see that Garen do. He basically just face tanked that, almost got that turret himself, and I like this from Glacial. They're going to really start to force his tempo. Of course, that guarantee still isn't up.
Garen still not quite having that TP available just yet, but the side of Glacial know that the Knights of Ishtar are in the area. They do not want to flip this objective. They're comfortable with their position in this game right now. They don't want to be taking any unnecessary risks, just maintaining control over the area for now, and we are 80 seconds out from that next Infernal Dragon.
That's right, and both teams will just continue to jockey for this vision control. Chicken the wing almost getting caught out, not quite. That Kindred damage really coming in now.
Popeng just jumping forward, just absolutely zeroes out the Seraphine. That was, yeah, 7 marks for the Kindred, so has that second range upgrade, and we saw it in action right there.
He's 7-1. You think he can beat 18-2?
I don't know. That's a pretty
man,
tough hard reach, but it's looking like he might get there. Ooh, just short on that rocket grab again.
That's right. And at this point, too, that Kindred has so much damage, you can effectively solo that Baron, especially when Kaiser is able to get there. The rest of his team to follow up, too. And yeah, that Garen's split push, that win con is still available, but when you see the damage that comes in from that Kindred alone, it makes it pretty tricky to really bank on that being your main win con. And this is a healthy TP, I think, coming in from Neversaw, just to be able to kind of negate that split push. And at this point right now, Glacial Esports, they really want to set up for this Dragon here that's up in 18. Ooh, the hook.
Oh, grab lands onto the Braum, and he is not going to be able to do anything about it. The burst damage is too much. The door, unfortunately, it looks like not quite properly positioned there. And now it is 5v4 in favor of Glacial Esports. Black Baron on for all 5. 7k is the gold lead. Boperto on the front lines. Tygoon coming in as well. He's going to drop the sword, but only onto the support. At least now it is on support, but Neversaw into the back line. Going to find so much CC onto the carries, and then goes Silva for the cleanup. Tygoon trying as hard as he can to get some kills back, but Popeng flashing over the wall will be able to get a couple more arrows into the Garen and solidify this fight for Glacial Esports, the new player on the roster, stepping up here in week number 2, looking to bring them their first match win of the season.
Oh, those are some nasty Orin mechanics. You see that engage in the back?
Oh, it was crazy.
That flash R into the knockup. Oh my goodness.
Are we sure Neversaw's not an Orin main?
I have no clue at
really
this point, man. I have no clue. You never know what to expect. It's spicy. I love it. Popeng popping off. The whole team from Glacial Esports is doing great. And I think right there, if you're Knights, maybe you want to consider giving it up. I don't think you have to fight for it. It's soul point. It's not the soul itself. So maybe a little bit of a blunder there. I can respect the attempt. They actually ended up getting the kill on the Blitzcrank, but of course, even with that 4v4, it doesn't turn out to be too much. Just at this point, Glacial Esports is really ahead, and if you can pull off fights with those mechanics and that style right there, it makes it a heck of a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Teamfight execution was there for Glacial Esports in that last one, and now Popeng is just so insanely strong. Level 16, 3 items on the Kindred, including that Horn upgraded Infinity Edge. Oh, that Arrow will connect, and now he's silenced, and he didn't have the ultimate anyway. He had nothing. They're just gonna be able to pick off that Kindred maxed out shutdown, going over to the Graves. Boperto picking that one up, and now Purple Ninja has to flash away to try and stay alive. Will be able to, ooh, gets the grab onto Boperto, who just picked up the shutdown. He's ignited. Oh, the shield is, he dies to the ignite anyway. Purple Ninja getting some vengeance for the jungler, and now Kaitazor in with the chains, looking for the engage. The stolen encore, 1-2, and Tygoon's gonna get absolutely obliterated in the mid lane. Only Frostbite and Ventro alive right now to defend. 25 seconds on Boperto, and Chicken again. The chains land for Kaitazor, and that might just be the game, Turk.
I think it's the game, crewman. At this point right here, you're gonna see it closed out. I feel like Glacial Esports, there's not much that Venture could do in this spot, especially with that Baron buff. We'll have to see, but that's just really well executed there from Glacial. Definitely a bit of an overextension there for Koi. Feels like you can kind of see the pressure, and again, kind of what we alluded to in the draft. You can really see where things just don't really connect. But we'll talk about that later.
Okay, the respawns have come in, so Knights of Ishtar not saying die just yet. They will be able to push back Glacial Esports for now.
I
But,
know
oh
nothing.
man, what was that?
I say I know nothing. I thought the game was over and done and dusted.
Hey, I mean, I was ready to call it too, but you know, it's still pretty early, right? 25 minutes. Those death timers were short enough. Saw dashing away. We do have some CC coming down now onto the Ornn. He's already used the Bellows Breath, but should be able to rejoin now with the rest of the team. And Voperto is going very low on the front lines. He's going to get taken down by the Cassian Rain. And now the Chicken Wing is also going to get devoured. And once again, it is just the carries, but not for long, as Silva flies in there to pick up the Quadra and close out game number 1.
It's over.
Now it's definitely over.
I know it's over now. We can call it there. All right, Glacial
I think we
Esports.
can.
Whew, a bit of a shaky early game. A couple changes. Quite go to plan in the big game either, but once they started to group up, you can see their comp really came together, and I think they have really good patience around that Braum shield too. In that second last fight, Kaiser with that stolen Seraphine what is it called again, Rumen?
The Encore.
Thank you, the Encore. Yeah, just really good patience recognizing that Braum shield was there. They used it. Once it was gone, the follow-up came through. The rest of the game pretty much felt like history at that point too for Glacial Esports. So far ahead with the comp that they drafted, it felt like they could execute, but I really want to highlight it. I don't just think it's Glacial Esports playing well. I think it's Koi with the draft that they made. They don't have the right tools to be able to force the fights that they need. If they're going to draft around the Garen split push, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But the issue is that you're 4v4, you need to be able to pull trigger. You need to be able to force fights on your own time, your own dime, basically. And if you can find that, then you can really make those plays. That's where you can find those picks with the Ash ult, with the Seraphine arm, which I already forgot the name of again, the Encore. But again, you could really just see that the Braum and the Graves, I feel like those two maybe were the best picks. But that's just me. That's just my opinion as an analyst. Of course, I wasn't playing that game. The tempo itself, I wasn't able to really experience that myself other than really cast it. So it's a bit more tough for me to say, but I just think that the tools for Koi really weren't there to be able to force those fights when they so needed them. And you could see at the end of the game, they were really just overextending to try to find something. And I can't blame them, honestly.
Yeah, for what it's worth, Turk, I do agree. You know, we did see the Chicken Wing try and go for the Carrier, you know, at one point, sort of in the mid game, in the mid lane there. Didn't really work out. Did really just feel like the sure. I mean, you got to respect it.
Oh, for sure.
But you know, it just did seem a little bit too difficult for them to make that happen. I do think we can give some props to Tygoon specifically,
for sure.
with the Garen counter pick. You know, putting on a lot of pressure in that side lane, and seemed like he knew when to group up with the team as well for the critical team fights, and was playing those out pretty well also. But it was really in the end. I mean, in my opinion, it was Kite Azur who stole the show here. You know, also had counter pick. Right, was able to get the Silas into the Seraphine. The Seraphine mid was pretty face up here for the side of the Knights of Ishtar, and just landing so many chains, consistent pressure early on as well, and even through the mid game. You know, we were talking about how Seraphine actually has pretty strong wave clear, and like generally does tend to have pressure in that mid lane, especially once she gets an item. But Kite Azur just seemed like he was able to do whatever he wanted in this game, and that's probably where my game 1 POG vote would go. But what do you think, Turk, before we go to break? Who's your game 1 POG?
I think honestly that's a pretty fair answer. I can't fault you at all from that. I mean, my thought, I was either going to give it to Kite Azur for game 1 myself or Popang on the Kindred. I thought he did a really good job with that pick. He ended up really accelerating the game when he needed to. Ended up getting a couple of the early plays too, a couple early kills, especially the one invading there with the bot side prio. Of course, you got to give it to the rest of the team as well with Glacial, but I felt like he did a really good job controlling the tempo of the game. He got really ahead. 9-2, not quite the 18-2 that you and I were hoping for at that point, but still, hey, that's
Maybe
not bad. You can't complain, right? There's good problems and bad problems, and that's a good one right there. So, yeah, I mean, I think I'll give it to you. I think I'll give it to Kite Azur, though, at the end of the day. I agree with you. The consistency really came out there in mid lane, especially. He pretty much controlled that lane through and through. All the prio that they ever needed was generated through that mid lane. He could rotate the bot, he could rotate the top. And when it came to the team fights, I thought he played them really well. Really,
yeah,
really
definitely.
well.
felt like he was clinching those team fights in a lot of instances.
for
Landing those daggers, metaphorically speaking. But like you said, Turk, definitely a team effort here for the side of Glacial Esports Black in game number 1. Really did enjoy that Kindred play as well. Love that you brought up that early game move that he went for. And honorable mention to Silva also on the Kaisa, who did top out those damage charts at 24.5K. But now, guys, we do have to go into a short break while we prepare for our second draft of the night. Don't go anywhere. The Victorious Triumph Series Week 2. We'll be right back.
KDA, should we show them how we do it every day? Let's get it. Kali that girl, Kali go girl, Kali don't stop, Kali don't skirt, Kali got a job, Kali got a word. 뜨거워 언제나 don't get burned. 넘쳐 흘러물 든 a buffet, 죽여주잖아 like a buffet. 누가 감히 on my outfit, 이건 문 열지 마, that's a rough day. Don't give any more cause I'm greater than. 필요 없는 시험들 다 뿐이미. But all of my numbers are talking back. 부르마 on message monopoly. 눈종이 돈이 나 remoney 필요 없대. 너네들이 만든 돈들 go get it, go get it, go get it. The mission 눈을 못대 못해 그래 너도 get it cause I got it different. All I'll ever know is life upon the throne. 시작하면 끝을 보는 거야. You want more? No, I got it so deep down. You look like you could use some more. No, I got it, never running low. Yeah, I got more than enough, set it up in a way. You know I got it like boom, boom, blow your mind. Never giving less, and it's how it'll stay. You know I got it like all day, all the time. When I go, it's for thug, get it cool, but I'm cold. I don't fit in a mold, I'm a rebel. I don't do what you say, making moves, I don't wait while I smile in your face. I got different DNA. What's higher than the top? That's me. Come take a look before falling at my feet. 조용히 몸을 숙여봐. So take a look, 나를 기억해요, queen. All I'll ever know is life upon the throne. 시작하면 끝을 보는 거야. You want more? No, I got it so deep down. You look like you could use some more. No, I got it, never running low. Yeah, I got more than enough, set it up in a way. You know I got it like boom, boom, blow your mind. Never giving less, and it's how it'll stay. You know I got it like all day, all the time. Way out，感觉犹如海浪的味道，不断往前，Oh you never way down. This is how I do it every day. Wow, wow，这一路上的奇迹都记住了你的每一个瞬间，无比的耀眼。I know you want some more，准备好就一起走，Giving it all more。No, I got it so deep down. You look like you could use some more. No, I got it, never running low. Yeah, I got more than enough, set it up in a way. You know I got it like boom, boom, blow your mind. Never
right, everybody, welcome back to week 2 of the VTS. Jumping now into our second champion select phase of the night. Same sides as game number 1. Turk, as the Knights of Ishtar still want that R5 counter pick.
They sure do. And let me take a quick look from last game. The R5 counter pick last time was given to the jungler, so it'll be interesting to see what Knights of Ishtar do. Could elect to put it to a solo lane instead. Maybe they save it for support. But I'm kind of curious right now. Obviously, they chose to keep the same side. So, do we see the same bans? I'm not so sure. Both you and I were talking about it off air real quick. Wouldn't be surprised to see that Kindred ban coming in. If I'm not mistaken, Popang has played that 3 out of 4 games so far. We are going to see the Lilia right away.
Yeah, has looked extraordinarily good on that. Kindred has Popang, but so far the bans are looking identical to what we did have in game number 1. For the side of Glacial Esports, it was the Jarvan. Here was their last ban. And for the side of the Knights of Ishtar, it was the Swain. That was their last ban on red side. So see if that is different at all here.
Yeah, I'll be surprised. I mean, I remember playing against Glacial, and I would ban Swain too, myself. Yeah, yeah.
It
Sometimes
was
Swain just ends up completely destroying your team comp that you want to draft, especially if you want to do like an engage. It's really tricky. So maybe it comes in, but I really think the priority should be put on that Kindred ban. I just think Popang's played really well on it. And wow, okay.
the
Okay.
Blitzcrank has been
Put some
identified
respect
as
on
the
the
problem.
name.
Yeah, I mean, remember it was the Blitzcrank who joined up with Popang for that early invade, right? That you
True, yeah.
mentioned at the before we went to break. So maybe it was about the Blitzcrank, and Purple Ninja was the big difference maker there. But I guess my concern now is just like it seems like there's other picks that Purple Ninja could go for here that kind of accomplish something similar. I mean,
Mhm.
Blitzcrank is somewhat unique with the rocket grab, but like getting bot prio and bringing an engaged champ over to roam with your carry jungler seems very doable still here for Glacial Esports.
Yeah, it really is the same thing. I think the one thing that points out to me is like they don't want to. Are they going to do that?
Picking it away.
Now, if they pick the Swain, if I'm not mistaken, the Silas is up, so I think that Glacial Esports does have an option to B2B3 that before it is banned. So,
Yeah.
not mistaken, that matchup is pretty well. But what I was going to say real quick about the Blitzcrank is that it tends to accelerate really. Blitzcrank
Yeah.
or Silas is still up, and I
He
see the
is.
Swain's there.
Yeah.
I'm getting
Yeah.
scared right
He's
now.
really he's
I'm
really
getting
is still
scared.
up. You're
I'm
absolutely
getting
right, sir.
scared, crewman. I don't know,
Uh
man. I think I
yeah, our
see it.
game 1 POG, Kaitazur, back to the Silas is the
Yeah, I'm
assumption
calling
here.
it right now. It's a Silas. It's got to be.
Yeah.
I won't
Uh,
even finish my point. My point was irrelevant. It was just about vision control. That's all I was going to say. But there it is. Like,
there it is.
that's stock stand. That's a given.
Of course, it was the Silas saved until B5 previously, but this time around, after such a great performance in game number 1, and already seeing these 2 great ultimates that he can steal, Kaitazor happy to lock that one in a little bit
Yeah.
earlier this time around, but it will mean that they have to drop priority on either top lane or support, Turk.
Yes. Yes, they absolutely do. I'm trying to think of like some 4D chess in my brain where you could send Swain top because I've seen that before, and you could send Seraphine mid, and you
Sure.
could do all these weird things.
Broken
But
Blade.
yeah, like that's what I
Yeah.
mean. But I don't see it in the cards. And a
Mm.
B3 Bard is pretty spicy. What that to me tells me that they assume that it's already going to be a Seraphine bot lane, which makes 100% sense. I would assume the same thing too.
Sure.
And the Bard tends to do really well because, of course, you don't even need to play to that lane. You can just roam. You can impact the rest of the map. And that to me says that Glacial Esports come second phase here are really going to look to get a priority jungle, something that they can invade with that Bard and then kind of accelerate and really move the tempo with this game. So if you're Koi, you want to be looking at banning a lot of those junglers, I think, in this phase too. And the Talia pick coming out, it's kind of spicy. Phase 1 from Koi though, that's a lot of AP already that I see.
Yeah.
I'm not super sold on that phase 1 by any means. We'll have to see how it's piloted, but I think from what I can tell right now, it's gonna be Talia jungle, Swain mid, and then Seraphine is interchangeable and bot lane or support. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think right now, like Glacial Esports is looking really good with the phase 1 and Koi, it's a little up in the air. We'll see what they do.
Yeah, I mean, it's still we're just in the first half of Champion Select still, so obviously it is too early to call anything just yet.
100%.
We love to call things early, Turk. We do enjoy that very much.
I always, yeah,
Let's try and hold off for now. Let's restrain ourselves, right?
yeah, okay.
We're
Hold
taking a look
back,
at this
hold back.
second ban phase. Is going to be the Ornn that will get denied. So this is
Yeah.
kind of the price that we paid for picking Silas earlier, as well, of course, as the Kindred ban has come through as well. The ban for Glacial Esports previously was the Fiora. Here was ban number 5. See if that is going to be the same. But yeah, this draft for the Knights of Ishtar, it's funky. You know, we are cooking right now. The kitchen, the
Oh yeah.
burners are on. You know, we
Oh
have the
yeah.
ingredients all laid out, all on the counter. We are getting ready to add the spices. This
Oh,
time to see.
I think there's gonna be some spices for sure.
Yeah, you got it. I mean, you need them. We're not.
I mean,
This is not British League of Legends. We use spice here in North America. Okay, all right. We like flavor.
the
Okay.
R4 will show us a lot about what's gonna happen here. Don't be surprised for an R5 counterpick top, right?
Wukong.
Is that
Yeah,
Swain Seraphine bot lane? That's a thing too.
I'm thinking so. That's
That's a
my
thing
vibe
too.
right now. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Good lord, I can't keep up with this. I'm getting too old. Oh man.
Okay, so if Glacial Esports are on the same page as us, let's see. We need a jungle pick into Wukong, and we need a
Yeah,
blind pick top laner
that's
for
right.
our off roll top.
That's
We cannot
exactly
pick
it.
Horn. Hmm.
Yeah, they are. I mean, there's a lot of champions that can accomplish basically what Orange wants to do
Yeah,
themselves too. So they could
definitely.
just pick another weak side top. And we're gonna see the Kane. I like the Kane here quite a bit. There's not a
Ooh,
lot of CC for you to really like kind of cancel or get interrupted.
yeah.
Like nothing really reliable so far, anyways. Of course, there are a couple windows. Tulia E being a big one, but the Kane pick coming in here,
True.
that's a little counterintuitive to what I expected to see with the Bard. Generally, again, you want to see that Bard
Well,
roaming with your jungler early on, having that impact. It's not like you can't do that with Kane. It just feels like if you want to really get that going, you pick something like Xin Zhao. But we're gonna see the Maokai coming out, so that's a Maokai top.
yeah,
Again, effectively does the same thing as Ornn, has that long range engage, and that's
absolutely.
just another weak side warrior coming out, following in the footsteps of Leono, and I respect it.
I do as well. Seems like a very, very comfortable blind pick there, the Maokai. Now we're going to
Yeah.
see what will come out this time around for Tygoon. His Garen is open once again if he wants to go back to the might of Demacia. The
Ooh.
Poppy this time around.
Okay.
Okay. So we are going to get some value into the Kane and the Silas.
Mhm.
How do
Now,
we
if
feel
I'm
about
not
this matchup
mistaken,
into the Maokai?
yeah, if I'm not mistaken, the Poppy W, what is it called? Steadfast? I'm not very good with the
That fast
names, but
presence. Yes, that is
thank
it.
you. Yeah,
Yeah,
Steadfast Presence. Yeah, the W, it actually doesn't negate Maokai's W.
true.
The root by
Yeah,
any means, if I'm not
yeah.
mistaken. So indirectly
The
there,
one
I could see it
dash.
being yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. You're untargetable in that. So that's one interaction that I could see. But at that point right now, I think you've kind of gotten rid of your split con or your split push win con. I keep saying that tonight with that Poppy pick, but that tells me right away that Knights of Ishtar, of course, they want to group up. They have that Wombo now. So that's something that I can appreciate. This team
Yeah.
comp is a lot easier to execute than the last draft that they've pulled off. While it's a little unconventional, it's also spicy. We like it. It's something different. So it could catch GEB off guard. And on the opposite side, GEB, they pretty much drafted their standard front to back team comp. The one thing that really sticks out, of course, you're going to see that Bard. I think once that Kane gets the evolve, I imagine he's probably going to go for the red here. Just going to give more CC for the team. At that point, I can really see the front to back really coming online. But GEB's team comp, generally speaking, is what you can expect to see from them. Really, it's that weak side top, and again, playing towards the mid. Get Kaiser ahead, especially in this game right now. He did it in game 1 versus Seraphine. We'll have to see if he does it here in game 2 against the Seraphine, or is it the Talia? I don't know, but we'll have to see exactly what he does there if he's able to
We
get
shall
that
see.
prio. Swing into those side lanes, make that impact happen like he did in game 1. Keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, yeah. For myself, Turk, I actually am especially intrigued with the jungle matchup. You know, you
Hmm.
said a minute ago that you do feel that the Kane works pretty well into the Wukong. I kind of disagree. So the Wukong, it is true that he doesn't have much CC. It is only in the ultimate, right? But if the Wukong is able to save the ultimate, and he does have 2 charges, of course, of it as well, the Kane R can be very telegraphed. So if Kane does R first, you know, he's obviously going to be in there for a second. And then if
Hmm.
Wukong is still holding on to the R, then he can counter engage incredibly effectively. The
Yeah,
problem with Wukong right now is he's really weak. He just got nerfed so many times from when he was meta, like earlier
mhm.
this year. And I just feel like he's really weak right now compared to a lot of the other junglers.
I do agree. I do agree with that. I think that the Wukong's pretty weak. Again, you have that Seraphine to kind of boost that champion up. So I think that the Wukong in this case is actually going to be a-okay with that Seraphine, that more supportive style. I think you'll be
Okay.
fine with the pick, especially if you're able to get ahead because that Seraphine can facilitate things. Hopefully, we end up seeing a bit more impact from the champion in this game. But of course, no matter what game you play, Seraphine eventually will come online, so they have consistency there.
Yeah, yeah, certainly true, Turk. But
Poppy does pretty well
it's
into the game too, so it's be a lot more tricky for Popeng to really kind of take control of this game. I feel like what he did in game one, but in game two, yeah, a lot of this is just going to be, I think, around the supports. If they're able to get those roams, that Bard's going to be really impactful. I think this game, that's the idea at least, and if they're able to just kind of nullify topside, they can play through that mid. Hopefully, we can get that Bard rotating up once Kane starts to get a bit more levels. He'll be able to come online too, so it'll take a bit of time. I think early game will be a little slow, maybe once again, but what do I know? I think first blood was 3 minutes last time, so
yeah, I remember it was like right before the crab spawn, I believe, was our first blood previously. So we'll have to see. Seems pretty unlikely again, but we weren't necessarily expecting it before either. So yeah, we'll just wait and see what happens on Summoner's Rift. You want to toss out another prediction for us, Turk? Is the side of the Knights of Ishtar about to cook us a delicious meal, or are they about to burn down the kitchen? What do you think?
yeah, your metaphors are good. No matter what I pick, it's gonna be a good answer now. Uh I probably still have to give it to Glacial Esports Black. I think that their comp's pretty
Yeah.
solid overall. They have a pretty solid frontliner too. With that Maokai coming in, I feel like if you build MR this game, you're going to be looking pretty good. That's 3 magic damage alone that I can see right away. Swain, Seraphine, and Talia. So yeah, MR really high value this game. They're able to get that. Do have that front to back team comp. Feels like it's pretty easy to pull trigger 2 with that Maokai ult, and then kind of follow up with the stolen Seraphine R or maybe the stolen Swain R. So I like Glacial Esports Black's comp. I think they've just basically drafted what they normally do, which is basically just a comfort team style or team draft for them. So yeah, I'll give it to Glacial.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling that way. Kaitazur on the Silas once again. Silva on the Kaisa once again. On champions, they performed extraordinarily well with last game, and they do have quite a bit of momentum you have to feel after that previous win as well.
Yeah.
But just maybe the unorthodox drafting of the Knights of Ishtar will be enough to turn the tide. We'll find out soon, guys, as we make our way onto Summoner's Rift for game 2. We'll see you there.
Right.
Those days I drop, sit on the floor, thinking I'll stop, can't take no more. Show me that day, could get a roar. Now it's a battle, but this is a war. I'll show you what I'm made of. Rise to the occasion. Got fears when I face them. And I'll show you what I'm made of. A heart full of fire, looking at a fighter. 보단 밝은 네가 그잖아. 너의 가치를 너가 잘 알잖아. You know that I could take the more you shine. 어두움이 지나 밝은 하루가 babe. You don't have to be afraid. And I'm not cause today I'll show you what I'm made of. Rise to the occasion. Got fears when I face them. And I'll show you what I'm made of. A heart full of fire, looking at a fighter. I'll show you what I'm made of. What I'm made of. Yeah. I'll show you what I'm made of. life no more. Take it to the grave, I'll ghost. I know I can be so cold in the dark, where I like to keep my heart. No more bite, no bark, like to catch you way off guard. I'll stay so deep inside your brain and take you somewhere far away. Time to roll the dice, you know I'm the
Alrighty, my dear League of Legends enjoyers, welcome back to the Rift for game number 2 of the night. Same sides as previously, Glacial Esports once again on the blue, Knights of Ishtar on the red. Any runes or summoner spells to point out for us at the beginning of this one, Turk?
Purple Ninja, taking the fleet footwork. I like that, especially into the 2 ranged. It's going to give you that kiting ability, going to give you a little bit of sustain too. So that's something to take note of. Ventro, of course, going for, what is it again? Good lord, I forget the name of that. First Strike, which is great, because First Strike, you just want to be able to scale up. Talia really doesn't start to come online until about level 9. At that point, you're getting close to your first item, or should have it already. So 5 points into the queue, that's when you really start coming online, so that should just accelerate that too. But the rest of everything else that I see is pretty stock standard, and so is this level 1. You don't see too many crazy things going on. More just neutral vision coming in from Glacial Esports, and of course you see more defensive vision coming in from the Knights.
Absolutely. We will have both of our junglers starting on the top side of the map once again. We'll be pathing down towards that bottom side, and it looks like that the composition for the Knights of Ishtar has lined itself up pretty much exactly as you initially were expecting. Turk with the Talia, of course, in the mid lane, and swinging Seraphine down here at the bot. So the Sylas versus Talia matchup. Did we discuss this during the draft at all? Am I completely blanking on that conversation?
Well, we didn't discuss. We weren't sure where we were going.
Yeah. Well, your thoughts?
If I'm not mistaken, I think it's a little Talia favored, especially when she's able to get those levels. Of course, there's not a huge ultimate for the Sylas to be able to hijack and be able to just continuously push it in. That's what you want to do, get those rotations off, especially at that 6 mark. I know she's not the strongest then, but she's able to certainly impact the game. But again, yeah, as time goes on, you're going to be able to scale that level 9 that you're looking for. And we'll have to see how that goes, but right now, bot side pretty heavily favored for Glacial.
Yeah, Silva and Purple Ninja are picking up right where they left off from the previous game, just maintaining that pressure consistently throughout the laning phase and that bottom side. But I will say, Turk, that it does at least feel to the Knights of Ishtar that they were able to rally somewhat in the second phase of the draft in terms of not giving Sylas any more great ultimates this time, right? Because that was something that we were very concerned about initially at the beginning of the draft, but it seems like they were able to kind of cover that weakness off somewhat at least.
Yeah, I really think that their phase 2 draft was quite solid, honestly. Their phase 1, it's unconventional. It's tough to say, like, from what I see, I shouldn't even say that, just because I don't see it. It might be fine, but I definitely see some flaws in it. I think at least in this game, too, no matter what, they've drafted some more reliable engaged, especially with that Wukong. That Wukong's going to be able to impact that map so much, and yeah, if they're able to force those fights, I think they can make some big things happen. So, just a better draft in game 2, I think we saw this
is absolutely, yes, that's, as I was about to say as well, exactly what we saw previously. That's an early use of the Warrior Trickster, sacrificing yourself for the blue buff. I don't know about that one, boss, as now Popang is going to get pulled in. So we have now found ourselves a 1-for-1. Now Silva is very extended in the middle of all of these players. Will get taken down. Kites were able to get one back, so 2-for-2 now in this jungle, but this is a little bit sloppy now from Glacial Esports. Kite Azure behind enemy lines and a little bit of a 1v3 at the moment. Yes, his Bard to try and get him out to safety, but the double root will come through from the chicken wing on the Seraphine, and that will mean that the Knights of Ishtar come out ahead in this particular skirmish.
In game 1, we saw Glacial Esports take such an advantage, but in game 2, they were ready, the Knights. They ended up sending that TP, Tygoon, TP to his tier 1, flashed over the wall, landed the stun on Solo, able to net that kill and burn the cleanse at the same time. So overall, just a much better reaction there. And they were able to make some things happen off that. That's exactly what we want to see.
Absolutely, yeah. Good shout there, actually. I missed the Poppy teleporting in. I just assumed that Poppy was the jungler because we've seen her there so often recently. But absolutely right there, Turk. Really nice heads up from Tygoon to be able to make it over there and create that favorable situation for the squad. It has resulted in Neversaw getting the push up here, and the Poppy is going to lose a fair amount of movement, but still, I think it's pretty worthwhile. What is this now? The Kane is doing some counter jungling as Purple Ninja is going to get shoved backwards seismically, and now here comes Popang looking to get a little bit of damage down onto Ventro. Talia going down low. The chains will land, and Kite Azur will pick up number 2 already on the Lost Chapter as well. Popang dashes over the wall and will not get stunned up by Tyler.
Glacial able to just find that small pocket of vision there, able to rotate, find that play, get the kill on Ventro, which is great. And honestly, it looked a little dicey there for a second. It looked like Knights actually had a bit of a window to collapse if Tygoon maybe moved a little bit sooner. It's kind of tough though. You don't want to miss all those minions, all the XP, which is what he had to make the choice of. Is, do I go for this wave, soak up a little bit, or do I commit to the invade? And in that case, Glacial did well, and Soka could be in trouble.
Ooh, rooted up, no cleanse, gonna get pulled in by the Never Move, and he is looking pretty dead on my screen. One more Death Sand's gonna come out from Frostbite. There it is, and Swain picks up number 2.
And it's nice to see the agency that these two champions can bring in. That's a lot of AP, but bot lane, you're not going to be building much magic resist at all. But Silva with no cleanse does have the flash. Could have chosen to burn that. Doesn't, but ends up getting killed. And at the end of the day, that's another kill for that Swain. Free 6 Swain, 2 kills. It's pretty scary considering the damage we're going to get started from here. Never saw.
Ooh, that was really close. Almost got the Poppy locked down underneath the turret there, but just not quite, just like half a second too late on that Nature's Grasp. As the Tygoon did, he was able to get that backwards. So, not enough time to finish the Drac, and then Popang gets in there for the steal. Kite Azur as well with the stolen Demonic Ascension is just draining everybody. Chicken Wing running for their life, but it's not going to be spared as the 2-for-0 team fight plus the objective Glacial Esports Black coming alive.
And that's what we talked about. That B2 silo coming in makes total sense with that R1 and R2 being picked up from the Knights, and you can see the impact of the playoff. That actually happened. Okay. That's not the 6, but
dodges away from the Vision of Empire. Does still have that Umbral Trespass, as you say, Turk, but it looks like it will be the retreat instead.
Will be, and that's going to be a shutdown too. Frostbite is obviously going to go down at the end of the day there, so yeah, that's not bad overall at all. Glacial Esports continuing to put a lot of pressure up in this top side. Neversaw is doing a really good job of playing, I guess, a strong side, weak side.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the result of that TP away from lane for Tygoon, right? He's so far down now in experience, not really able to contest. Neversaw on the wave, so just gonna have to hang out here around the tower and pick up this this gold as best that he can. Oh dear. Or maybe he's not gonna be able to pick up anything as the chain's coming in. A nice steadfast presence to try and buy a little bit more time, but it will not be enough. The Poppy even able to get over level 6 there, trying to outplay underneath the turret, but just ultimately a really nice dive and a nice rotation from Kite Azur.
Yeah, you get that priority. He is, of course, level 7 on that 6 from Talia. It goes to show you really how this lane's going. And of course, 4 kills being netted up too. You can really see the tempo that that champion's able to bring in. Kite Azur just playing really well at the Silas pick once again.
Absolutely. You know, even has that CS lead as well as the Dark Seal, getting that stacked up. Looking really good for Kite Azur once again here. In the bot lane, as we were mentioning earlier on as well, just continuing to get these waves shoved into the Knights of Ishtar over and over again.
Yep, that's exactly it. Right now, that's exactly what's going to happen. Both bot waves are just going to want to push as much as they can. Ideally, if you're Glacial Esports, you're able to get that reset on Purple Ninja. He can rotate up and play for those neutral objectives, especially that Rift right now. But at this point, both bot lanes are pretty happy to do what they're doing, as is Popang. The game itself, if it slows down, that's a really good thing for Knights. We'll have to see exactly what happens here over this next Rift Herald, of course, but game state could be worse, it could be better for Knights, but overall right now, I think they still have some plays to be able to make.
Be careful. He will be alright on the Seraphine. Never saw 2 levels up in this top lane. Doesn't really have a lot of damage to speak of, so he's not looking like he has too much kill threat at the moment. But certainly continuing to bully Tygoon a little bit up here. The gold leader at the moment, Turk, is about 2.5k. Pretty significant for this early on in the game. And 1,400 of that is in Kaitazur's pocket in the mid lane. As Frostbite looking for it down here, flashing forward. Will find the never move on Purple Ninja. Does he have the mystical journey? He cannot get it off in time. And the Bard will get taken down. Big commitment there from Frostbite, but it does net them a kill.
This game could be the battle of the Swain ults. just thought about that right now. Frostbite is a major win con right now for the side of the Knights. He's able to get a lot of gold here. That's 3 kills. Has 1,250 in the bank right now too. He's gonna be really happy to go back, spend that, grab his mythic here, and check in the wing. Kind of just hovering here, playing for this mid round. They might look to contest this Rift Herald, which the mag is obviously on right now.
Yeah, let's see. That Rift Herald is only at about 2/3 still. So Bopang taking that pretty slowly. As the rotations coming off, as you say now, for the Knights of Ishtar, and they will push Bopang and Kaitazur off the objective. Going back in. Never saw it now with the Nature's grab. The encore setup as well is just exquisite. And they wanted the Knights of Ishtar to believe that they had enough control over the area to actually move in and fight for that one. But in reality, it seems they were never even close.
With the hijack Seraphine art, it feels really tricky to be able to actually contest that, especially when you yourself don't have that ability. So,
Shove under the turret. Oh, Purple Ninja zooming in there to pick up the aggro. Really hero play from the support there. Keeping the mid laner alive, and now Talia gonna be forced to flash and Weavers while in retreat.
Tycoon getting the better as Never Saw right now, but a good disengage.
Yeah, flashing forward now is Tygoon, but not going to work out. Oh dear, what's this now? That's Kaitazur coming in hot to this top lane, and we already used that fast presence, didn't we? Goodbye, Tygoon. It was a valiant effort.
They did him dirty. They did him dirty. He was flexing.
I mean, Tygoon was like kind of trying to do the dirty also, like standing there emoting at Never Saw, but yeah.
Not much is true. Dirty from both sides. But yeah, at the end, there's another good heads-up play from Kaitazur. He burns the TP there. He doesn't even end up missing that mid-wave either. So, exceptional play right now. Sitting at a 700 gold bounty. That man is worth 1 grand right now.
Fat shutdown. His wanted poster is right up front and center on the billboard. Kaitazur, see if they're going to be able to catch him. It's not looking too likely at the moment, as that never move will not land. Frostbite going to send it demonically anyway. The Killer Instinct to get Silva back towards the turret. The flash as well, and will barely survive. And now the teleport in from Never Saw, who has ultimate. He's going to have this Nature's Grasp. He's going to get a root onto at least 3, including Frostbite. The main carry threat here is surely going to get taken down as the Blaze Reach will connect, but the damage is not able to get in range. A beautiful Bard ultimate. So lockdown 3, and the follow-up comes through. A stolen Cyclone. It looks like they're for Kaitazur. They are. He managed to get a couple of kills. Very deep now is Popang underneath the turret. Managing the sidestep on the seismic shove. We're going to get some more work done as Tygoon on the front line. Going to get locked up by the chains. A prisoner of Kaitazur once again. And it's going to be Glacial Esports absolutely wiping the floor with him in this bot lane. A 4-for-1 as Boperto's trying to turn it around. Does manage to get the kill on the Purple Ninja. And now looks like Glacial Esports may have overplayed their hand. Oh, they're going to lose their top laner as well. It did get a little bit messy, but they will complete the ace under the tier 1.
That's right. It actually seemed like a bit of a botched play there coming in. The TP from Never Saw was great. The ult came through it. It only ended up hitting Frostbite, and the focus wasn't put on him. The focus was put on Ventral. They tried to get the kill. It looked doomed, but Purple Ninja with that Barda was so clean. Landed on 3. Kaitazur ends up stealing the hijacked Wukong Cyclone, and actually ends up flashing into the middle of them, and they are able to make that play happen all the while Silva's just pushing mid.
It did feel like a very greedy angle there from Glacial Esports, right? They clearly, the intention the whole time was, the call was, we kill all of them, right? It was like, they were not going to be happy with just Frostbite, but they might be happy with just Frostbite this time, as he is getting burned down pretty low. The stolen Demonic Deception will come through. Purple Ninja with a little bit of an awkward journey there, and it will end in his demise. So 1 kill over to the Knights of Ishtar. They reduce the gold lead just a little bit. They are going to consider trying to tie off the dragon count as well, but Popang alive and well, as we can see. He got the Scuttle Crab there as well. He's going to have some vision on this dragon take. Might not be brave enough to actually go for the steal, though.
That's what it looks like. Knights of Ishtar just able to pick that up, and that's just off a really nice pick coming through. They net the kill. They end up burning the Swain R4, but it's absolutely worth it. The rest of your ults are now coming up as well here. And Knights of Ishtar, they have more agency to continue pushing this tempo here. They're definitely down a lot of gold. Their ultimates are up. Maybe they can find something And Glacial Esports, a little bit of an overextension there. Trying to get the kill in this lane's a little bit tricky, especially with that Seraphine in the back pocket. But
Right, Azure looking for this 1v, or didn't maybe know that it was a 1v2. Seraphine was waiting in the bush, but I think Silas is still pretty favored here as Tygoon in a 1v2 of his own, and the Poppy is, her outlook looks much worse than that of Kite Azure. Is going to try and do some alcove gaming here as Reaper's all going to come through from the mid laner. Ventro trying to come in here and save Tygoon, and looks like will be successful. Oh, the bar cube not quite going to find the stun and never saw. Should be able to get an range to W. Ventro here. Talia looking like she might die for her top laner's sins. One more auto from the bar, trying to trade one back. Not quite enough. Purple Ninja makes it happen. 15-9 now. Glacial Esports.
Death by 1,000 cuts. It's sad to see, but eventually you will get the kill. Never saw. And Purple Ninja, they won't go down. Maybe here they will, but no, he's pretty safe overall. But yeah, bit by bit, they're able to poke down the Talia as they continue to slow chest with that kill. And the Bard pick seems like it's really starting to pay off.
Yeah, Purple Ninja clearly very comfortable on this Bard. Got a number of good looks already. Voperto, the trickster, that is not the real Wukong in the Krug pick. Has managed to shoot out to safety, but of course those Krugs will be secured by Frost. Is of course the red pain in this game.
I'd see more money taken.
That's a shame. They really should reconsider. Propane will also get the Raptors. Kane is starting to get really far ahead. Look at that CS difference in the jungle. Holy smokes.
Yeah, it's starting to really accelerate, isn't it? And that's pretty indicative of just the general map state at this point right now. Of course, you see the outers being taken in all lanes. And now, I would expect to see that bot coming down.
Oh man, yeah, he's just going in for this one. That's just a dead chicken wing on my screen as Propane might get traded back. Oh, the pain shenanigans come through. Once again, Propane is completely fine. Purple Ninja will find the stun. Oh, that was so disgusting. What was that Bard Q? Yeah, you deserve to die for that one, Purple Ninja, but how's the rest of the team fight look? I'm thinking it's pretty Glacial Esports favored as Tygoon. Oh, it will be a 1 taken back as Propane does drop, but it is 3 for 2. Make that 4 for 2 as Ventro is not going to be able to get away. Glacial Esports now in full control.
As a Knights, you're grasping at straws 100%, but very, very important to those fights as the turn.
Oh.
Yeah, otherwise this is going to happen. You need to have, at minimum, the same numbers. It's 5v5, you have a chance. Ideally, it's 5v4, 5v3.
He's walking up to this here from the turret, guys. Frostbite will be able to get away. And we do have some pretty low health bars here, but the stolen demonic ascension once again, and Pythagor is gaining a lot of HP. They just can't do any damage to the guy. Voperto's gonna get taken down next, and once again, Pythagor just making it happen. Never saw a little bit of an oopsie there, and we will not get the inhibitor, but I mean, look at it. Silas is 12-1 with 25 stacks in the book. Or that is, I mean, I don't know how you play the video game, to be honest.
Yeah, you don't. He was tab out or something. Switch your Spotify playlist. I don't know at this point. It's tricky, man. 12-1 Silas with the ultimates that were given to him. I don't know what you do in this situation. Again, I was kind of alluding to it earlier there before really the map state kind of really started to blow up, but at bare minimum, you have the same numbers. If you're this far behind, there's no question, and realistically, you're not going to be able to get those kills anyways. You need to find major odd man advantages, like 5v3s, 5v2s, 5v1s, 4v1s, whatever you do. Otherwise,
oh my god, the damage, man. He doesn't care. Kind of feels like 1v3. I like those odds. He's got the stolen Cooper's verdict now. Going back. Oh, Swain with one combo. That was... And Frostbite didn't see it coming either. He was like, oh, I'm fine. I've got my ultimate, and I'm dead.
Oh, no. That's... I don't know. I guess that you can expect that now, I suppose. Expect the unexpected. That's just absolutely insane. Goes to show you 25 stacks in the Magi's too, and yeah, Kaidazur is absolutely carrying this game right now and doing a great job with his team, especially he's playing around this really well. In that case, that was a 1v3, but every other fight, every other situation we've seen him do, or making that impact, it's been around the team as well, so we've really been able to set up and play around that Silas pick, not only in game 1, but here in game 2 as well.
Has been crispy for Glacial Esports. You know, they've maybe had a couple of moments where some individual members have overstepped just a little bit and maybe given over a couple of unnecessary kills. But for the most part, they have been very much in control pretty much the whole way through. As, yeah, Tygoon can't really match the Maokai anymore. After being injured, wrapping into multiple members, the guys are cleaning him up. Yonkor will connect from the top end. Quite low. My game minimized for some reason, and that's going to be Neversaw going down as well. So it can be a one for one.
Yeah, we almost actually seen the Bardar coming for Purple Ninja to save. Neversaw there, but unfortunately just wasn't quite there. The Ignite did end up getting him, so yeah, a little unfortunate. But it is what it is. Probably just take your reset here. Play around that Baron. Look to close this game out. Play it properly. Maybe just do a 4-1 split, however you want to do it. But I end up really focusing on closing this game out. This is definitely your game to lose at this point right now, and I don't anticipate it by any means, but you really do need to stick to the fundamentals of the league in general.
We want to see, I think, Glacial Esports close this out before the next draft experience, right? With a lead this big.
That's a good objective at this point. It's pretty hard to say they won't when you see this.
He's going to get devoured once again. Oh yeah, Pain, he's from ahead especially. It feels so bad. Crossfire is going to go into demonic extension here. Is it going to matter? It is not. He will still die. Hopang is going to not knock up the two. Also die. But now Killer Instinct in to the base. It's going to be Silva picking up that one. Kai'Sa on the rampage, and we don't even need the Baron turn. I think we can look for the Nexus right now.
Excuse me, I think they absolutely don't do it. Especially with that
Beautiful Maokai ultimate. Straight under the turrets we go. Is going to kill on the Poppy. We do need to take down these next turrets because they're doing a lot of damage to us. And now we do have Seraphine and Wukong going to try and clear out this minion wave. It looks like they will be successful. So the game, once again, first, we called it a little bit too early. And we're going to play on for a little bit longer.
Yeah, we're good at that. If there's one thing that we're good at, it's that.
Maybe not. Maybe we did call it right this time. Here comes the kill on this Seraphine. Again, where's our minion wave? It's coming in. We've got Kai'Sa here as well. We do have a super minion now with this wave also. So this first Nexus turret should certainly...
It's tough to force right now, especially because you're against that Swainer.
Ooh, nice teleport from Tycoon, able to find that Kai'Sa in the back line. Neversaw's not making it out of here either. That's another kill. Kaitazur, 1v4. Nope, can't do it. Okay, so the Glacial Esports overstepping comes through once again.
Well, they're definitely slowing this game down. At this point right now, you could have taken that Baron. You could have already rotated for that tier 2 top. Probably played for at least 2 in-hits. So, I mean, if you want to fault them for that, you can. But it's pretty clear that they're just having some fun. And, you know, I don't blame them. But you got to be careful, guys. Otherwise, something like this can happen. You have 3 members down right now. And if you're the Knights, I like this play. You might as well force it. Map state sucks.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, the game's looking pretty doomed. You might as well try a burger flip right here. Burning this Baron down. Bardolphin once again, beautiful, onto 3. Purple Ninja is going to get engaged on now by the Flame. He's going to have to go journey mystically over that wall. Perfect blasting himself safety as well. Hopang in position, though. He's in the pit, and he gets the Baron. Oh, the insult on top of the injury to finish off the night. The Knights of Ishtar. It was worth a try. It was a valiant effort, but in the end, it was all for naught, as they will get wiped off the map alongside Baron Nashor. And now, Turk, surely, the game will end.
I'm thinking the game's done. Hopang, I'm sure he just had the best ride of his life. That was a magic carpet ride for sure. He just went zooming off that Poppy. I don't know if we ended up catching that on the stream, but that just killed me. Saw a couple question mark things coming in there too. So yeah, the team's definitely having some fun with that. I think it's a good healthy way to close the stream out.
Dancing Shadow. Dancing Shadow.
Yeah, I guess so.
Wow, Glacial Esports Black. What a bounce back after a tough week number 1, right? The defending champions certainly wanted to come into this fall split with starting off with a win. They weren't able to accomplish that, but they absolutely have turned it on here in week number 2.
Yeah, for sure. There's no doubt. Game 1 and Game 2 felt pretty decisive, and I think really if you want to get down to the brass tacks, you got to kind of get back to the drafts and just in general. I think especially in Game 2, I think the R1 and R2 that you selected there coming in from the Knights probably just weren't the best, and we talked about that pretty early on as soon as we saw both those picks with that Silas being up, especially if you see that Silas being shown in Game 1. So should be on probably the top of your mind, but I think they did game 2 a lot better because they actually gave themselves a lot more tools to be able to force fights, look for those angles, make those plays. But ultimately, you could just see Glacial Esports when they're able to group up, they're able to make plays. But I think it's a bit more than that. I really think it's Kite Azur. Like that guy,
Yeah.
like game one, we weren't sure. We're like, do we give the MVP to him? Do we give the MVP to Popang? But I'm like, game 2, like, come on, man.
Yeah. After game 2, it has become very, very clear to us that Kite
Yeah,
Azur was tonight's POG.
he took that
Um,
personally, man.
he took what personally?
Oh, just the debate of the
Oh,
MVP.
the fact that we weren't sure was insulting to the great Kite Azur. Our apologies, Mr. Azur. We won't make that mistake again. But yeah, I mean, pretty clean tonight. Well, not the cleanest I've ever seen, but overall, I mean, they were in control pretty much the whole time, which is generally, I think, a good stick with which to measure.
Yeah, for sure. And we talked about it before we even started up game 1 there. Of course, Glacial Esports with a different jungler this time, Popang. Right? We're so
Yeah,
used to seeing
yeah,
LDCs. And we know the style he played before. He's really strong at playing to himself, basically looking for those like those camp advantages, the tempo advantages, really just getting ahead just individually and then looking to impact the rest of the game. So I think that style actually translates flawlessly with Popang too. It seems like he's really good at being able to do that with the Kindred and the Kane too. Both of those picks really speak to me as basically the same Glacial Esports and that we saw before, and that we got Popang now. I don't know. It seems very very Glacial Esportsy.
yeah. I mean, it seems like it's working for them really well, right? They
Yeah,
found another jungler to fulfill that role, that that third carry threat from the
yeah.
jungle position, clearly working out quite well for them so far. After what we just watched, are we sure actually that Popang isn't just LDCs with a name change?
I don't know.
I
I
don't know
was
if we
wondering
consider
that
that
too. We were hyping it
possibility.
up, man. I just kind of went. You dropped the narrative there before, and I was just gonna run with it.
Mm.
I was like, I'll just stick with it. But maybe he is, and if it is, it wouldn't
Well,
surprise me because they play the same champions. But regardless, long story short, Glacial Esports when they're on form, they look great. It would have been nice to have been able to watch week 1 to see how they play. Really, what ended up
mhm.
happening in that series, and unfortunately, we just didn't get the chance to be there. But in week 2, we got to see them. Look like they're looking pretty solid here, and I look forward to
No
watching them
doubt.
some more. Because let's be real, we're gonna have to cast these guys at least once more, aren't we?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh,
Actually,
for
only
sure.
6 teams in the league for this split, Turk. So we're probably going to be seeing quite a bit of all 6 of those
Uh,
squads.
they're gonna be
So
everybody's gonna be sick of us.
yeah,
Everybody.
surely, that's is going to be pretty likely, isn't it? But hopefully, we can hold their attention for a little while at least. I believe in us. I believe in us to at least make that
Yes,
much happen.
someone's got to, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they don't have a choice, right? Whether Victoria's broadcast do you see out there, huh? You're gonna watch us or else. Anyways, you have any final thoughts on tonight's match, Turk? Anything else that you wanted to mention before we close
Oh,
out this week's
just
show?
just just for myself, it was great to be able to get back into the swing of things.
Mhm.
A lot of the time, especially with competitive right now around this time of the year, things are really dull. It's just boring. We've seen the same patch. We talked about it before, but we'll talk about it one more time. We saw the same patch for like the past month, whatever it's been, month and a half now, and to be able to see the competitive side of amateur really start to take off here. VTS, it's fun to be able to cast. Last season was a blast, so this season again, I'm looking forward to the same stuff, whatnot. It's fun. I'm glad to be here. I think Glacial Esports did really great tonight. I think they had pretty much the showing that I expected to see from them. And if you're Knights of Ishtar, I don't think you did bad by any means either. I think if you dial in how you want to prioritize with your drafts, especially your R1, R2, you elected to take red side both times. Really just dial back, focus on your drafts, get more consistent engage if you're able to, and then keep an eye out on that Silas pick. Honestly, it's just situational. Some teams don't play the Silas. Like sometimes you
Yeah.
can get away with that stuff, or sometimes you can bait it too. Sometimes you can pick like a Yone to have that counter pick, right?
Sure.
But a couple things that I noticed that really just didn't give Koi the best chance right out of the gate, I think.
Yeah, I certainly agree, Turk. I do think our main criticism of the Knights tonight was the draft
Yeah.
phase. They didn't really feel like they were setting themselves up for success, unfortunately, but it is, 5 weeks of the regular season to play still. And I believe with only 6 teams in the league, I think all 6 of them are probably going to get seeded into playoffs. Don't quote me on that. I haven't actually checked. But that would be my assumption
If
for
you
how
don't
that
make
would
playoff,
work.
if you don't make playoffs, it's sad.
When every team
You-
makes playoffs and you somehow don't make
You'd be a sad boy.
in before that actually happens. Yeah,
Yeah,
but we don't have to worry about any of that just yet. Still lots of League of Legends to play
that's
up
right.
to that point. But certainly, it does seem that Glacial Esports are very happy to be back. They certainly deserved the 2-0 tonight, looking really, really on form, even with a couple of subs in, right? Didn't have their full starting five. It didn't matter. So both of those guys who came in tonight, big props to them as well. Special props sent that way. But Turk, I believe that is going to about do it for our week 2 coverage here. So from myself, from you, from our amazing producer, the Artful Dodger, from the entire team here at Victorious, thank you everybody out there very much for watching. And we will see you back here, same time, same place next week for week 3 of the VTS. Don't miss it. For now, thank you and good night.
See you then.
There's no time for redemption. Those flags you wave, will they hold up? Don't cry for your vengeance. It's right there to take. Oh, if you want it, the world is watching. Here's your judgment. Here's your reckoning. I'll write your story down into history. Pride and country. You could have everything. So bring home the glory alive. Go and rise for your nation. There's so much at stake. Will you show up? Oh, it's about damn time for a little salvation. Those flags you wave.